Hello, new and old friends. My name is 2482, and today is stories about people asking if they are the butthole. The first one is about a woman uninviting her friend to her wedding. The second one is about neighbors' kids sneaking over to their house and trying to bug them as they self-isolate and work from home. So grab yourself some tea or coffee and sit back as I tell you about people thinking maybe they are the butthole. Am I the butthole for telling my friend/bridesmaid she is no longer invited to my wedding? I, female 29, told my female 27 friend/bridesmaid she is no longer invited to my wedding. I had a rule after choosing my bridesmaids, and that I was choosing everything, from their dress to their makeup, and they seemed on board, and to be honest, it's my right as I'm the bride because it's my wedding. A friend reached out to me privately and told me she's not comfortable with changing her hairstyle because it's not easy to style African American hair, and she likes her dreads. Now, this is where it all started. I told her that I would be willing to pay no matter the price for her hair. I have no ill feelings towards her, and I don't mind her hair, but it would look extremely awkward next to the other bridesmaids and would stand out in the pictures. Again, this is my wedding, and it's supposed to be about me. Now, if she wants to be just a guest, I wouldn't mind, but she's a bridesmaid, which means she would be standing next to me in pictures and sitting next to me. She told me it's not about the price. She doesn't want to take them out and that the heat can damage her hair. I told her I respect her decision, but she is no longer invited to my wedding unless she changes her hairstyle. I'm honestly willing to re-invite her, but just as a guest. My friends' opinions are divided. Some think I have the right to request because it's my wedding, and others think that I'm telling my bridesmaid to wear certain hairstyles is too controlling. I'm really stressed out about my wedding, and I don't want to ruin it before it even happens. Am I the butthole for telling my friend to change her hair? Edit. You guys are being mean and not seeing things from my side. African American women wear wigs on their natural hair a lot of the times, so why can't she consider this option? I've even stated that I'm willing to pay. My friend used to wear wigs in college. I have seen her old pictures. I didn't call my friend names or put her down. I simply request a makeover because a wedding only happens once in your life. Edit 2. I think some of you think I'm American or European. I'm not. I'm from the Middle East, and my friend is African American who lives here. In my country, people here will hire security guards for their wedding who are in charge of kicking people out if they don't follow the dress code. Or, for example, if a woman went to a wedding wearing a white dress, my friend will not stand next to me until I say I do. She will be standing next to me for hours. Weddings here can go as far as 12 hours. So I hope you guys enjoyed my Valley Girl impression, because she really came across as a Valley Girl to me, whether or not she's from the Middle East. She is a bridezilla. You can't control people like this. This is horrible. But let's go read the comments. Vast Lecture says, "You're the butthole. As a black woman, I think you are completely a racist butthole. Black people's hair is not like white people's hair. We can't wear the same styles as you because it's not healthy for our hair. Just like white people shouldn't be wearing certain black hairstyles because your hair is just too weak. At this point, I hope she cuts contact with your toxic and racist behind." Also, do you know how long it takes to get hair dreads to locks? It's a long, time-consuming process. It requires special hair products and money if you pay someone to retwist them. how dare you demand that she basically waste her time and effort and money to get dreads? Dreads are beautiful black style that is professional and classy. That's really going to be the only comment I read, because OP did say that they'd be willing to pay for them to get the dreadlocks undone, but that's beside the point. You could damage the hair, you're going to have to put them back anyways, and really, there's nothing wrong with dreadlocks. They're beautiful, and I bet you they look amazing on her. Let alone, okay, yes, she could wear a wig. 1, they're hotter. 2, they're itchy. And 3, they're a pain in the butt. So, I think that maybe this friend shouldn't go to the wedding. Maybe get away from this so-called friend, aka Bridezilla. Would I be the butthole for planting prickly bushes in my front yard to keep the neighbors' kids from my property? Throwaway for obvious reasons. I moved into a detached townhouse a few months ago. It's a rental. I'm leasing for a year with the option to extend that with a second year or possibly buying the house. My driveway is right next to the neighbors. It's big enough to fit 2 regular-sized cars, and halfway down the driveway, there's a path that leads around my house. On one side of the path is my house, and on the other side is about 3 meters of yard that's also mine. Ever since I moved in, I've been having nothing but issues with the neighbors using my driveway, parking, turning their cars, storing their other stuff, playing, etc. Asking them to stop using it and keeping their items on their own property has not worked. So I placed a few large plants, installed a camera, and a no trespassing sign, and that helped a bit. At least the cars are gone. The last few weeks with the stay home advice, I've been working from home. But the neighbors' kids are making that really hard. They're about 5 and 7, boys, and they keep ringing my doorbell multiple times a day to ask if they can play with my dog, if I want to play with them, or anything else they can think of. I asked them to stop it so I can work, which, of course, didn't work. So I asked the parents and was told boys will be boys, and they weren't going to do anything about it. To keep my sanity intact, I removed the battery from my doorbell, but now they keep running around in my front yard, on the path, around the house, banging on the windows, banging on my doors, and actually tried to open the gate to my backyard this morning as they heard me in there. I once again asked them to stop, told them I will not be allowing them to play with my dog anymore at all if they keep this up, and they left, sending over their dad. I told them to keep the boys away from my property and door. If not, I'll be planting some prickly bushes to teach them to stay away from other people's property and shut the door in his face. Would I be the butthole if I actually did that? I would love to place a fence or something, but as it may be for short-term rental, I have to be able to return everything to its original state for now. Edit. I'm getting a lot of comments about social distancing and lack of isolation of the boys. I'm from the EU, and my country isn't on lockdown, and it is, or was, I'm not 100% sure anymore, advised to let small children play outside. So, of course, my thoughts first. I don't see OP as being the butthole in the situation. They have tried everything they can to stop the kids from disturbing them while they try to work, and the parents aren't helping the situation. So really, at this point, OP needs to do something, and maybe just bushes are what they need to do. Away is away, 23 says. Not the butthole. Their parents are lazy and sound like they just want to make you a free babysitter. Boys will be boys. Shaking my head. NKDeck07 says, not the butthole, and don't plant bushes. Call the darn cops. Also, there are no-dig fence panels that would work perfectly for your situation. You also might want to contact the landlord and see if they're willing to install a fence. I am a landlord, and I wouldn't want a random kid coming onto the property, and I would be very willing to help out. And our last comment comes from Wasteland Mama. My grandma used to do that a lot. She had a huge corner lot with tons of flour and whatever. All the neighborhood kids learned the hard way not to cut across her yard. Once, she even hosed down a bunch of kids in January because they were slaying over where her magical lilies were. In her defense, she asked them nicely once, then warned them, then came out with the hose. I have 2 little ones now, and if they ever bothered someone else's on their property, I died mortified. It's so rude. Now, let's go to the update. I was asked to update. About a week after my post, I planted a wall of blackberries and raspberries on the 2 sides of my gardens facing the driveway, about 30 centimeters from the edge so no overhanging branches. On the other side of the berry wall, I planted lots of other stuff like strawberries and tomatoes. To reach the tomatoes and strawberries from the driveway, you have to either go through the fruit bushes, you'd have to walk up to my house, walk about 2 meters along the side of my house and my windows, and then walk into my actual garden. Not something you do by mistake. For about 2 weeks, it was somewhat quiet, but I still found the kids on my driveway every single day. As far as I know, they do not enter the garden, and I haven't noticed them walking around my house anymore, so I figured the bushes were working. About a week ago, berry season started, and my bushes were full of raspberries, and there was lots of strawberries as well. The neighbors noticed. First, I caught the boys picking and eating raspberries, so I told them off and dropped them off at home. I told their mother I had caught them stealing. That's how I see it, even though it's fruit, and that I'd call the cops next time. She huffed and told me to grow up, but took the boys inside anyway. After that, it was quiet until yesterday afternoon, when I went out for a while and found the dad and his 2 sons right in the middle of my garden when I returned, clearing my bushes and plants. I didn't even confront them. I just called the cops from a distance as they hadn't noticed me yet and started filming them after making the call. Luckily, 2 cops showed up about 10 minutes or so, and they confronted the neighbors as they were still picking berries. They told them they were trespassing and that berry picking was in fact considered stealing and that I could press charges. For the first time, I noticed a bit of fear on my neighbor. He was having troubles finding his words and kept looking back at his house, I guess hoping his wife would show up and yell at the cops. They all went inside with the cops, so I just went home as well. After a while, the cops came by and asked me if I wanted to press charges. I asked them if they felt they scared the neighbor enough to stay away. I got a small smile and a yes about him, but the wife had kept shouting at them and her husband about the little witch living next door. I told them no for now. Asked them if I'm allowed to get extra cameras set up on the wall between my garden and the road to cover my entire front garden and driveway. They said that's allowed as long as it's on my side of the wall. So now I'm getting extra cameras installed. One neighbor knows I'm done messing around, but his wife isn't there yet, and if I ever catch any of them again, the cops will be called and possible charges will follow. First of all, oops, OP is actually a female, my bad. Second of all, this is exactly what you should do. They called the cops, they filmed them breaking the law, and yes, stealing someone else's food from their garden is theft. It's not something you should do at all without their permission, because without their permission, it is stealing. And I'm very happy that OP will be making sure that there's a camera, so now they have proof. I hope OP has better luck with these neighbors. And if not, well, OP only has to be there for a year. With that, we're at the end of our stories. If you enjoyed them, please leave me a comment on what you think. Tell me what you think about the stories, or even about that accent I did. I would love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed these stories, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. Subscribe to my channel to hear more from me, of course. Both of these will help my channel grow. If you'd like to have more input on what I do on this channel, or would like to buy me a coffee, then check out my Patreon link down below. It really helps me out as well. Thank you all for watching, and come back Sunday for chilling, scary stories. Bye!